What if the sun suddenly turned into a black hole? It happens in less than a heartbeat. One moment, the sun is blazing in the sky, warming our faces, driving the winds, feeding the plants, holding the entire solar system in its elegant clockwork dance. The next, it's gone, replaced by something far smaller, darker, and infinitely stranger. The sun has become a black hole. There's no explosion, no blinding flash, no fiery apocalypse. Just darkness where the golden disk used to be. At first, you might think the Earth would be torn apart instantly, dragged into the abyss by some monstrous gravitational pull. But that's not how black holes work. At least, not in this case. If the sun were magically compressed into a black hole of the same mass, its gravity at Earth's distance would remain exactly the same. Our planet wouldn't spiral in. It would keep orbiting, just as before. We'd be circling an invisible object, a sphere barely 3 kilometers wide, hidden in the shadows. The real problem wouldn't be gravity. It would be light. The warmth and illumination we take for granted would vanish instantly. Day would become night across the entire globe. The only light would come from distant stars and planets, and from the pale glow of the moon reflecting what little sunlight it had already received before the transformation. Within minutes, temperatures would begin to drop. The atmosphere would cool, winds would shift violently as heat gradients collapsed, and within hours, much of the Earth's surface would plunge below freezing. In days, the oceans would start to crust over with ice, beginning at the poles and spreading toward the equator. Photosynthesis would stop almost immediately. Plants, deprived of sunlight, would wither and die within weeks. Without them, herbivores would starve, followed by carnivores. Humanity would scramble to adapt. Massive artificial light and heat sources would be deployed in cities, powered by nuclear and geothermal plants. Underground shelters and domed habitats would spring up as refuges. Food production would shift to hydroponic farms illuminated by artificial lamps, but the strain on resources would be immense. And still, the cold would deepen. Within a year, the average surface temperature could plummet to below -50 Celsius, 5 AF. The oceans would freeze over almost entirely, though deep beneath the ice, geothermal vents might still support life in strange, dark ecosystems. Above, the sky would be breathtaking, in a cruel way. Without the sun's glare, the Milky Way would blaze in unimaginable clarity. The black hole at the center of our orbit would be invisible to the naked eye, but its presence would be betrayed by the gravitational lensing of starlight, bending and warping the view like glass in water. Over centuries, the Earth's surface would become a frozen tomb. Only those who had built self-sustaining habitats underground, or perhaps moved to orbiting space colonies near other stars, would survive. Life itself might endure in deep oceans or sealed domes, but the vibrant, sunlit Earth we knew would be gone forever. And yet, in a strange way, the solar system's clockwork would still tick. The planets would continue circling the black hole, locked in an invisible waltz round the ghost of the sun. To an observer far away, the orbits would look almost normal, as though nothing had changed. But for us, on this tiny frozen world, the transformation would be the end of the age of light. Humanity might cling to life, but the age of warmth, the age of skies painted gold at dawn and dusk, would be over. In its place would be an eternity of night, lit only by the memories of a star that once was.